Is it live? Yes, and we're live. Welcome everyone to our Semrush webinar. My name is Alexandra and I work at Semrush and I run the very best paid social media team here. Today, me and my guests, we're going to talk about Facebook, how to make it work for you, how to target the right audience, what to post about, and the whole bunch of things. Today, I am with Sorav Jain. Sorav is a digital marketing professional, speaker, author with like 12 plus years experience. Oh my God, that's so cool. Anyways, I will let you, Sorav, tell everything about yourself.
Hi, Alexandra. Thank you for hosting me. I run a digital marketing agency in Chennai, India, and I'm very passionate about this subject. I have been blogging on soravjain.com. I run an institute also here. It's called Digital Scholar. And that's pretty much about me. And today I'm going to talk about content marketing tips that works really well on social media. That's my topic.
Yes, we're so waiting for that. Also, today we have an award winning entrepreneur, speaker, and Facebook ad consultant. His agency is actually a Facebook marketing partner. How cool is that? Welcome, Gavin Bell. Gavin, couple of words about you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Very, very excited. I live here in sunny Edinburgh in Scotland, so a little bit further away from you guys than you're maybe used to. And I run a Facebook ad agency here. Also have an online membership program where I teach small business owners how to use Facebook ads. And I can't wait today to talk about a couple of my favorite subjects of content marketing and using Facebook ads to drive the people that are consuming that content into customers.
Thank you. I am so excited. Your guys are such experts. I think we'll have a perfect webinar today. So I think we should start. Sorav, why don't you go first and tell us all about your content marketing tips?
Sure, perfect. Just hold on, I'll share the screen. So, hello everyone, and namaskar from India. My topic today is about 10 content marketing tips. You can also connect with me on my Instagram. That's my Instagram username. I'm also an author of this book called 101 Content Marketing Tips on Social Media, and I've taken some of those ideas here in front of you today in this session. So, whenever you draft your content strategy, you have to focus on five important things. You have to see how helpful your content is, because that's what people are looking forward to on the internet. How inspiring your content is, how informational your content is, how entertaining your content is, and how topical or how current affair based your content is. So these are five different types of content which generally goes viral on social media or is mostly consumed by people. I repeat, it's helpful, inspiring, informational, entertaining, and current affair based, which is a topical content, which could be anything. Let's say today the world is talking about, yesterday the world was talking about the World Cup. So possibly you can talk about World Cup or Wimbledon or revolve your content strategies around that. So, in the session today, I'm going to talk about 10 important content marketing tips. But before that, something which is very important is a lot of people start their Facebook page or Instagram channel, and something that they miss out is they post a lot of content. They don't know what the direction of the content is. So, stop posting about 30 posts per month or 60 posts per month. Focus on creating 5 to 10 posts that adds a lot of value to your audience. Today is not an era where you do a lot of posts, but you focus on posts that can survive for long. And that's where your focus should be on the in the current era of digital marketing, or I would say social media marketing. So let's get started. 10 content tips that works wonder on Facebook, or that work wonders on Facebook. Number one, invest in a long haul post. When I say long haul post, I mean post which can have a longer shelf life. A festive wish or a special day wish dies by the day that particular day gets over. For example, if it's Christmas and a Christmas post dies by 25th December and nobody really looks into it on 26th or 27th of December. So create content which can have a longer shelf life. So here is example right now. We work with one of the salon here in the city, and we created a content where we have clicked the photograph of the salon, which is a very exotic, luxurious salon. And this particular post was promoted for as less as $1 a day for a period of 365 days. So what happens is you continue to reach to people, you see likes coming, you see comments, you see shares, and it keeps growing. And people get inspired by looking at so many likes, so many comments, so many shares. So you need to really think of content that can revolve on the internet for long, which is a selling content, but not very salesy, but somewhere helping your brand, helping you establishing a brand's presence very strongly from the content perspective. So this is an example here. I'm not selling the haircut, I'm not selling makeup services, but I'm talking about how cool my salon is, and that's what I'm selling or promoting for long. Similarly, if you have a testimonial of your customer, which is let's say if you have a celebrity who you are well aware of, or who has visited your store, or who has visited your salon, or who's visited, or who has recommended your service, if you use his testimonial and you use it for very long duration from a retargeting point of view, it brings a larger engagement one, or a relevant audience engaging with your content. So build content which can stay on internet for long than creating content which can just survive for a day or two. And that's tip number one. Tip number two is make longer videos. A lot of us have been believing in creating shorter videos, which is a great idea for your messenger campaign, which could be WhatsApp Messenger or Facebook Messenger. But when you are trying to build an audience and you're a brand new, you're a absolutely new brand out there in the market, you possibly got to focus on creating content or a video which is a pretty long one. So let's say this is a video which is about 8 minutes long, and it talks about skills required to become a digital marketer, and this is promoted to people on a day-to-day basis, and you can see that this video has about 1100 shares. And this video helps me in building the audience today, because Gavin is going to talk about how you can build custom audiences. So you can build an audience out of people who have watched your video, and then you can show your futuristic content to them, or whatever you're planning to post in the future. Now, why is this very important? Because when you create a long form video, which is about 4 minutes long, you will be in a position to create an audience out of people who have watched at least 50% of that video. Because if a person has watched 2 minutes of your 4 minute video, he's pretty serious about you, or he's well aware about you, which means in the future, when you're trying to promote a content to this specific audience, the audience who has watched 50% of your content, it's a great audience to look at. Number three, number-based series. This works like a one-off catalog, and we do this every single time, which means you basically create 40, or you can upload up to 40 photographs in a single album on Facebook, not in a single album, but as a one-time upload. And you can have the first cover picture with a title card, which is, let's say, 40 cool hairstyles, or 21 cool hairstyles, or 31 cool hairstyles. Now, these are your products, or these are your best works, or these are your best case studies that you portray to the world out there. And again, this is a long haul content. So something that you create and which can survive on the internet for long, and which is something that you would want to promote for longer duration, so that you keep getting a lot of inquiries, comments, and share on one single piece of content. So here I'm not telling you to do a day-to-day post and click on the dangerous button called boost post. You rather focus on creating few masterpieces like these. So one of catalog, which is number-based catalog, does really well in this case. Now, fourth, going local or using regional language has worked brilliantly. In our case, in India, when we have multiple languages, I have seen when I use languages like Hindi or Tamil for even popular brands, I see the engagement is pretty high. So when you're trying to target Sri Lanka, try to talk or communicate in Sinhalese. Like that, when you're talking in France, you try to create a communication on French language. So that the more regional you go in your content strategy, the higher the impact is, because the emotions of connecting with the regional language is pretty high, and the cost per engagement is much cheaper than your English languages up there. So create and revolve your content strategies around the regional languages, because the engagement is pretty high. Fifth, create one content property that is solely yours. Now, let's say, why should someone visit your page? A lot of people in India visit Domino's Pizza's page. Why? Because it gives some amazing offers out there. Now, when you go there just to check out offers because they have been posting their coupon codes there, your mindset is made this way that you're going there just to see that particular coupon code. And you know that you can find this on their Facebook page, right? Similarly, you need to create that one element which will bring people on your page. For example, a lot of people come to my page on Monday because I share new things in digital every Monday around 7 to 8 p.m. So people do come for that, and start they expect me to post this every Monday. And sometimes when I miss this out, they ask me this question: why is this not happening? So one, you create these practices of some Mondays, exclusive Tuesdays. Like I do cartoon Wednesdays. Like you can see this every Wednesday on my Instagram, I post a cartoon which is revolving around life of a digital marketer. Now, the most important thing here is that once you set that expectation, you need to stick on to this, and you have to consistently post these cartoons every Wednesday. You can change the theme after some point of time when you run short of ideas, but you also communicate that to the audience. So the idea is Monday to Friday. When you want to really be disciplined in your content strategy, you can define and set that expectations with your audience so that they know that every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, there's a style that you follow and there's something that they can expect out of you. Sometimes you can create following or fan following for this specific style of content, which you're possibly very good at. Sixth important thing, test and play with different types of videos. Videos are the game changers. We all know that we consume a lot of video on social media today. So, so as a brand, you need to invest in different kinds of video. One is video graphic, which also does really well on social media, which is pretty much slideshow with the content overlay or text overlay on top with the nice music in the background. So when you have done series posts like 40 cool hairstyles, you can repurpose the same content in format of videos and try to promote that too, because there's an audience who likes to scroll and use the carousel format, and there is an audience who likes to watch the video. So you need to repurpose your old content pieces and club them together in a format of video graphics. On a similar style, when you're doing video with subtitles has a larger impact or a good turnaround or a good commenting opportunity. So you need to really see how can you have subtitles in your video. And most importantly, videos with top and bottom content strip, which I call as a meme style videos up there. So any video that you try to upload, if you add a top and bottom content strip, you're trying to create it like a blog post, which means you have the title there. And if a person is really interested in this title, he's more likely to watch the content which is in between the titles that you have posted there. So try to adapt to whenever you upload a video, you need to change the formatting of the video in this style, because these kind of videos are more likely to go viral or more likely to have an audience built, because you have defined that right from the beginning that why should they watch this video. So that whole why is supposed to be answered here. So here's one more example of the same. So every single time we do this, we see that the response is much better than the regular video that you post on Facebook. 7, encourage people to comment and connect that to Messenger. Today, Facebook Messenger marketing is one of the most important things to invest on. And I have been testing a lot with this, especially the comment to Messenger feature. So if you can create a growth tool by using tools like Mobile Monkey, or you can even use ManyChat, it allows you to connect your Facebook post to your Messenger. So when someone comments, you can create a campaign where you can offer something for free, and you will see overnight. This is not promoted. I have not invested in any kind of promotional post here, but this has gone overnight viral. Why? Because I promoted this particular video in around 8 p.m. and the audience is pretty active. So I saw a lot of people commenting, and every single time somebody commented, they actually received a messenger message from me. And similarly, whenever you go live on Facebook, you need to connect your Facebook Live also to your Facebook Messenger through using Growth Tool, so that even if somebody's commenting on Facebook Live, you can build them as an audience on your Messenger. So smartly use comment to Messenger feature, because comment allows you to make your content reach to larger audience. And the more they comment, the more subscribers you increase on your Facebook Messenger. Number 8, be the first to be wishing on festive post. So a lot of people post their festive wishes around 4 p.m., 6 p.m. It's best that you do it a day in advance, or create a post around it at least 2 or 3 days in before. So be it Diwali or Holi or Christmas or anything that you try to celebrate, try to post a day in advance. And do not just wish people, but create a theme around that communication and promote that or talk about it than just wishing people Independence Day. You can rather remember a soldier on that particular day, and that's more likely to go viral because everybody else is going to talk about Independence Day any which way. So try to be different and try to be first to promote on a festive day. Point number 9, go topical as a brand. When I say go topical as a brand, if there is something current, you can see Durex is one of the best examples out here. When there is something which is very current, they try to create content around it. World Cup is being discussed in India majorly, and you can see that they have created something called mind bowling and mind blowing, and they have connected this to a condom brand. Similarly, you can see their post and content revolves around this. So this has higher ability of going viral when you're trying to create a spontaneous content with respect to a current affair or a topical content. And that's point number 9. So here are some of the examples of what Durek does or what Zomato does. They try to be very spontaneous to a current situation and they revolve their content around it, which has a very quicker shelf life. I would say not even short, not even long, but it is a quick shelf life because people want to grasp something very quirky on the current scenario out there. And finally, 10, co-create content strategies. If you do not have a bigger brand and if you do not know how to really promote your content pieces to your defined audience, then you should be focusing on co-creating content with pages which has a larger audience base. So try to connect with influencers on Facebook or influential pages which is trying to create content to entertain people. You can possibly introduce a product or you can introduce a product through them because that has larger impact too on social media. And that's point number 10. How do you connect with the top 10 influencers in your domain or top 10 influential pages in your domain or just in your area or just in your city, and you collaborate with them in creating content in the style that they prefer or their audience prefer the most? Let them do that content, give them that freedom, and from there the magic basically happens. So many of us think the organic reach on Facebook is dead, but that's not the truth. The organic reach on Facebook is just shifted. It shifted to two different platforms. One is Instagram. So start investing your time and money in growing your Instagram followers than growing your Facebook page followers at the moment. Why? Because your Instagram post has at least 30-40% organic reach when compared to your Facebook page. And secondly, start investing your money or start investing your time in growing your Facebook Messenger subscribers, because every single time I send a broadcast to my people, you can see out of 3,230 people I've sent broadcast to, I had about 59% people opening it, which is almost 60%, 50 to 60% of people are more likely to open a broadcast that you have sent to them via your Messenger broadcast. You have to keep it minimal. You have to keep it less promotional. You have to keep it highly informational or engaging or entertaining. That's when we'll start seeing a lot more value. And the turnaround for Facebook Messenger broadcast is pretty quick or pretty high. So that's some of my mantras, which I generally follow or I would recommend you to do. So may you have any questions? Please keep it for the end and I would love to answer them up. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me. And thank you so much, Olga, for hosting me out.
Thank you, Sorav. Thank you so much. That was like really cool. I even made some notes myself. That is wow. So I think that we have questions already. That's no wonder, because people are like engaged to your. They were engaged to your presentation and they have questions. So um, first, the first question is. Which free tools can we use to make meme style video, static, dynamic ones?
That's an interesting question. You can use this tool called InShot. This is one of the tools which is available on your mobile phone. You can download the app and you can actually create the video where you can do the editing. You can add background music. You can add the top and bottom content strip. And if you use a little paid version, you can even use the stickers, which I don't think is essential for you to begin with. But this is one of the best tools for you to use.
Okay. Uh, okay, next question. I think Gavin will cover it. How to do a remarketing ad in Facebook? Is there
Yeah.
a difference between acquisition and remarketing ads and stuff?
Yeah, so I'll actually be covering that in the segment that I'm just about to go and present on how to run remarketing ads, retargeting ads on Facebook, and also how to select your targeting when you're running an ad to an audience of people
Hey,
that don't know who you are.
that is perfect because our next question was how to select ad target in Facebook ads. So I think that, Gavin, it's your turn.
Let's do it. Let me share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see my slides.
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Okay, cool. So great presentation there by Sorav, and it's a topic that I'm really, really interested in because for me, when it comes to any of the social media platforms, all the questions that I tend to get asked and all the things that people come up to me after speaking on stage and ask is all around the technical elements of Facebook ads, such as how do we write copy? How do we do the bidding strategies? How do I target the specific audience? And actually, none of that really matters. It on one hand, it matters a lot, but on the other hand, it doesn't matter for the majority of people. And I want to explain why that is right now. So, when we are running any sort of paid traffic, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, AdWords, wherever it is, what we want to do, or what we're essentially trying to do, is to do what I've got here on my screen. So, we're trying to bring strangers, people that don't know who we are, into our business and convert them into customers. And if we're able to do this at a profit, it means we've got a consistent, a predictable, and a scalable business. Now, what a lot of people try and do and try get wrong with their Facebook ads is they will try and go from that initial strangers, that initial point of contact, and try convert people directly into a sale. So they'll go to a cold audience and they'll say to people, come and get 30% off this product or come and buy this product. And at the end of the day, people don't care because when somebody sees your ad on Facebook for the first time, they don't know who you are, they don't like you, they don't know you, and they don't trust you. And if they don't trust you, they're never going to purchase from you. And so, what I want to talk about in the next 10, 15 minutes is to talk about, well, how do we use Facebook ads in a way to build trust? And what Sorav has actually just spoken about is so, so important about this. If I'm ever working with a new client, the first thing that I don't do, because typically most clients will come to me and they'll say, Gav, my Facebook ads aren't working. How can you make them work? And what we don't do is we don't just go and adopt a new Facebook ad strategy. We don't go and spend more money, spend less money on Facebook ads. The first thing that we do is we look at their funnel. We look at how are you attracting people that don't know who you are into your business. And 9 times out of 10, they're not doing what Sorav just spoke about. They're not creating incredible content. And if they're not creating incredible content, their ad strategy tends to fail. If they are creating incredible content, it tends to work. And this is why. Like I say, somebody scrolling through their feed on Facebook, they see an ad from someone they don't know. They don't like that. They don't want it. It's like going into the middle of the street, trying to stop someone to get them to buy something. People don't like that. It's not a good experience. And so what we want to do is create content that provides value, that builds trust, gets people to like us, gets people to know who we are before we ever make the offer. And then after that people have consumed our content, what we can do is create retargeting ads, which then retargets everybody that's watched our video content and drives those people to an offer. Now, Sorav kind of touched on this. If we're creating video content on Facebook, we can then create a retargeting ad that retargets them to say, thanks for watching our video. You might be interested in this. Now, I'm going to walk you through an example of how this actually works because it can be a little bit confusing when we're just looking at a graph like this. But one thing I want you to bear in mind whenever you're doing any sort of paid advertising, any sort of marketing really in general, is most people are going to not take the action that you want them to take. So most people are going to consume your content, but they're not going to then take the next step. Most people that join your messenger bot aren't going to buy. Most people that join your waiting list for a program aren't going to buy. And so we need to know this and we need to bear this in mind. So when we are creating our ads, we're creating our campaigns, our strategies, we can go, okay, well, if we know that this is going to happen, how can we improve it? And one of the best ways to improve this is through retargeting ads. Let me take the example of an e-commerce client. If we are an e-commerce brand and we are selling shoes, for example, the funnel of people buying shoes is going to be to visit the website, view a pair of shoes, add that pair of shoes to the basket, then initiate the checkout, add their card details, and purchase the product. The majority of people that land on that website are not going to purchase that product. It's just what happens. You might get a purchase percentage of 2%, for example. So we can use retargeting ads to retarget people at each stage of that funnel to try and bring them back. So if someone comes to the website but doesn't view a product, we can retarget them to try and push them towards a product. If someone views a product but doesn't add to cart, we can retarget them with an ad to say, hey, come and add this product to your basket. If someone adds to the basket but doesn't check out, we can try bring them back to do that. If someone checks out but doesn't purchase, then we can say, hey, look, come back. You get £10 off or free delivery. Come back and make that purchase. And that will be one of the biggest return on investment ads you can ever make. All we're really doing is filling the holes in the leaky bucket. So retargeting on Facebook is actually something that might seem a little complex, but actually is very, very simple to set up. I mean, I'm sure everybody on this webinar has been in a situation where they've looked at a product or something like shoes on the internet, and then they've had an ad follow them around. That's what retargeting is. It's super simple, but very, very powerful. Now on Facebook, and because of the nature of this webinar, I can't walk you through technically how to do this. But to create a retargeting ad, what you want to do is go into your Facebook Ads Manager, and then the top left-hand corner, there's a little menu. You click on that, go to Audiences, and then Create Audience. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring up this page here. And I want to walk you through the different types of custom audiences that we can create. And a custom audience is an audience of people that we can use for retargeting. So it's like people that have had a touch of your brand before. So we've got different ones. We've got website traffic. So if somebody visits our website, we can retarget them with an ad. If someone customer file. So if people are joining your mailing list, you can upload your mailing list to Facebook and retarget those people. Super, super powerful. For example, if you've got a list of people that have joined the waiting list for a program that you're about to launch, you could upload that list to Facebook and retarget all of those people to push them towards your program once it's launched. App activity, if you've got an app, you can retarget people that have been on your app. Offline activity, you can retarget people that have been in your store. Videos, what Sorav touched on, which is we can retarget people that have consumed our video content on Facebook. And then Instagram business profile, Facebook page, we can retarget people that have engaged with our Instagram or our Facebook. So all of these different audiences actually start to hopefully put a bit of clarification on your content strategy, because for me, I'm always thinking, right, if I'm writing a blog, that's great because I can get people onto my website, which means I can retarget them on Facebook. If I'm building my mailing list, that's great because I can get people onto my mailing list and retarget them on Facebook. If I'm on Instagram and I'm posting content on Instagram or Facebook, I'm getting people engaging with me there so I can retarget them. And it just means that the more people I'm getting into my funnel, the more retargeting is going out, the more I'm driving people deeper into my funnel. Now, I want to share an example of this because this is one of my clients, Scott, who runs an incredible business, scottsbasslessons.com, and they've got over 25,000 paying bass players in their membership. And what Scott has done with his business is just incredible. He started off very early, 10 or so years ago. Scott set out, and actually, as Sorav was going through his presentation and going through all the different points and parts of it, it was really interesting because Scott has done all of those things, but he wasn't really thinking about it. You see, Scott 10 years ago set up scottsbasslessons.com just to educate bass players on how to become a better bass player, how to get better at the bass, how to, I don't know, answering all their questions, solving all their problems. Just if you were a bass player wanting to get better at the bass, Scott was the best resource on the internet. But he didn't have a business attached to it. He was just doing it as a hobby to try and help people. And he just loved doing it. By no means an expert on video, but the content he was creating was super valuable and super interesting to people that were interested in learning how to play the bass. And what's happened with Scott is because he's done this every single week, he's created a really high quality piece of content every single week. He started to build an audience. Because if someone goes on to YouTube, for example, and types in how to play a specific song on the bass guitar, Scott's going to come up. Scott then runs Facebook ads to these videos to people that are interested in learning to play the bass. Now, where this is really interesting is when it comes to our retargeting. Scott's consistency to content creation is amazing, and it's something that we should all try and get towards, but it's what he does with his Facebook ads that makes this really, really interesting. You see, when you're creating content, you want to create content that is something that is relevant to your business and relevant to your customers, and something that only your customers would want to watch. You don't want to create something that is for everybody to watch. It's got to be specific to your customers, so solving their problems. And the reason for this is because when we then come to run our Facebook ads and create our retargeting ads, is we know that the people in those audiences are going to be super specific. So if we go back to the retargeting, if somebody has watched one of Scott's videos on how to play the bass guitar, we can guarantee that they are interested in learning to play the bass guitar. Because if you're not interested in learning to play the bass guitar, you're not going to watch one of Scott's videos. You're just not going to. And so we know that everybody that watches Scott's videos are interested in learning to play the bass. And if someone is interested in learning to play the bass, they are a perfect candidate for Scott's membership. So that's what we do. So every time somebody watches a video of Scott's on Facebook, or every single time people visit Scott's website or engage with his Instagram or join his email list, they automatically get retargeted with an ad that says, hey, come grab a 14-day free trial to the bass guitar membership site. It's the best bass guitar site in the world. There's over 25,000 paying members in here. And like, as I said, you can get access to it for 14 days for free. Now, when we have done this, when we've put this 14-day free trial ad to people that don't know who Scott is, it doesn't work. Because at that point, Scott is just a stranger trying to sell them something. However, when we put these videos first, the entertaining, the informative, engaging content first, people that are interested to play the bass go, this is cool. This is somebody just giving me value for free. And so they watch the content. And when they watch the content, that then automatically qualifies them as a potential member for the site. Because we're going, right, somebody's watched 75% of a bass guitar video. That means they're interested in playing the bass guitar. And because they've watched Scott's videos, they've started to know who he is. They've hopefully started to like him. They've hopefully started to trust him because they watch his video. Then they see that he's got 600,000 subscribers on YouTube and that he's got hundreds of other videos dating back 10 years. The trust is built, the authority is built straight away. And so when we follow up with this ad to say, hey, look, do you want a 14-day free trial? The results that we get are just awesome. So it costs $170 to join Scott's membership for a year. We are signing up people using this strategy for just $18.50. So for every $18.50 we spend, we acquire $180 worth of revenue, which means we have a scalable business, a predictable business, and a consistent business because we create the content and we run ads and we get more people watching that content, which gives us a big audience. We then retarget them to the 14-day free trial and they sign up at a profit. So if we go back to this, the strangers, like I said, if we get the strangers and we go straight for that 14-day free trial, it doesn't work. As soon as we add that valuable, entertaining, high quality video content as that initial point of contact, the trust is built, the like factor is built. And so by the time that they maybe go watch another couple of videos, we then retarget them with a free offer and say, hey, look, you want to come and join this 14-day free trial? And then they join the 14-day free trial. We then email them, use more retargeting ads to try and get them to stay on as a customer after that 14-day free trial. We then get that customer out the end at a profit. So this is the process that we're always trying to get. And like I mentioned at the start, I could come on here today and talk about ad copy techniques and bidding strategies and all the technical, small, minute elements of a Facebook ad strategy. But if you don't have these fundamentals in place, your strategy will never work. If you don't have this fundamental funnel in place, the ad copy doesn't matter. The bidding strategies don't matter. The targeting strategies don't matter. These things only matter if you have the right fundamentals in place. This is nothing to do with Facebook ads, nothing to do with retargeting ads, nothing to do with the technical side of what we're talking about here. This is everything to do with human communication, relationship building, and trust. And that's what business is built on. If people like you, they'll listen to you. And in Scott's case, when we're creating educational content without asking, without ever trying to make the sale, people like us. And so they listen to us. And that's when we have the opportunity to then make the offer. And they'll only ever work with you. They'll do business with you if they trust you. And so you have to use your content to build that trust before we use Facebook ads to make them the offer. So that's me. That's everything I've got to say. Hope that was interesting and useful. And I'm more than happy to answer questions on the kind of technical side to Facebook ads, because I'm sure there's a lot of questions on that. But I just wanted to make sure everybody's in the same, we're all in the same boat when it comes to our overall strategy. Alexandra, I think you're muted.
Alexandra, you're muted.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was just so excited. We use the same strategy at the Semrush. We don't sell. We try to solve users' problem, and that is working like really great for us. So yeah, I'm so on that. Yes, thank you. And you were right. We have so many questions. I am going to address them to you. So, first, can we target users of specific pages, competitors, to target in our Facebook, Instagram ad?
Is this for me?
Yes, Gavin, it is for you.
So how can you repeat the question? Sorry.
The question is, can we target users of specific pages, competitors, or to target in our Facebook or Instagram ads?
Good question. So the answer is typically no. The Facebook doesn't allow you to say, right, competitor X, just target the fans or the page view, the people that like that page, unless there's two ways to do it. You're an admin on that page, which is unlikely if it's a competitor, or two, Facebook deems that competitor to be big enough to advertise to. So, for example, if you are Adidas and you want to target people that like Nike, then you're going to be able to, because Nike's a big enough business. But if you're a local business and you're trying to target the next store along from you, then it's not going to be possible, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. And also there is a question on how to create ad sequence on Facebook. How do you create a sequence?
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, it's a great question again, and it's similar to what we do with Scott. So we will create video content, typically video content. It can be done with blogs or other things, but typically video because it performs better. So we might create a video that's and I'll use my business as an example. So we might create a 2-minute video that's titled, "What are Facebook ads?" And we might send that out to every business owner in the UK using Facebook ads. Let's say we just get 5,000, let's say 10,000 views on that video. We then might create a second video, a 2-minute video or a 5-minute video that is titled "Why You Should Use Facebook Ads." And we might retarget everybody that had watched, say, 50% of that first video onto the second video. And then we can do the same for the second to the third to the fourth to the fifth. We can go as long as we want. So how many videos and how big your sequence is comes down to testing, and it comes down to what I like to talk about is the commitment levels required. So if we are trying, in Scott's case, to sell a 14-day free trial, we actually have found that we only need to send one video to them first and retarget people that have consumed the video to the 14-day free trial. If you're trying to sell a 997 course, then there's a lot more commitment required there, and so you need to build a lot more trust, and so you might need to sequence more videos, more content out there to build that trust up before someone's willing to make that commitment with you.
Yes, that makes total sense. And let's do the last one, and then we'll go to Q&A session. So how ads are integrated in the published videos?
What do they? I'm not sure what they mean by that.
Okay, let's okay, let's skip that. Maybe the person will describe more the question, and we'll then switch to okay. Hey, Gavin, do you notice a significant increase in cost per result when you do retargeting? And if yes, how do you manage to reduce these costs on or hold them stable? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, actually, typically we see a decrease in the cost per result when we do retargeting because you're targeting people that already know who you are. So it's like if we take the example of going onto the street, if you were approaching strangers on the street and asking them to buy your product, you're going to get probably 9 no's out of 10. However, if you're at a party trying to sell to people, friends that you already know, you're probably going to get 9 yeses out of 10. And it's the same, it's based on everything I've spoken about. So the fundamentals of how we communicate and build trust and relationships as human beings. So actually, the cost per result typically decreases when you're retargeting. If your cost per result increases when you're retargeting, you're probably doing something wrong, or spending too much money, or maybe your audience isn't relevant.
Yes, totally agree. So I think we are now we'll now have a Q&A session. So if you do have a question and you still haven't left it in the comment section on YouTube, please do that now. We'll pick some of them, and Gavin and Sorav will answer them. So as for now, we have questions for both of you guys. I don't even know who to address it. Where should I concentrate more while doing Facebook ads? Creative or targeting? So
I can take that. For me, both are equally as important. So if we can have the best video creative in the world, if we're targeting the wrong people, it's fundamentally never going to work because the right people aren't seeing it. However, if we're targeting the right people, but we have a creative that sucks, similarly, we're not going to get results. So I think that's why it's so important, and Sorav can talk about this, why it's so important to focus on the content side of things first, because you know fundamentally that you're getting that right, and then you can get the targeting side of things nailed down.
okay,
Right.
thank you. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Gavin. That was an amazing presentation. Gavin is right that the focus on content is very important because that's your product. And if your product is not great, whoever you are trying to target, you're not going to attract them. So you need so always consider your creative as your product on the internet, and that's what should be, and that should be a masterpiece, and that's what attracts people a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so start with the content and then target the right audience.
So
Easy as that. So Saurav mentioned reducing the number of posts. However, media platforms like I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that.
sure.
Verge have content published every 1-2 hours. They still receive great responses. Any thoughts, Saurav?
All right, very interesting question and good observation as well. So, whenever there's an editorial or media houses, they have a different dimensions with their audiences when compared to brand based or business based channels on Facebook. So, usually, editorials, media channels, which is well recognized in the country, they have a little better organic reach, I would say, when compared to that of their Facebook business pages, as such for any normal business out there. So that's why they will, even if they post every 1 hour, they are trying to sell news. And as a business, you don't share news. You're sharing information, you're sharing promotional content, you're sharing helpful content, but that's not news. There's always a difference between a breaking news, national news, versus, I would say, entertaining content. So so there is a scope for such brands to get better mileage, which Facebook itself recognizes. And then business pages like ours, I don't see us getting that kind of a visibility when compared to theirs. So that's why the difference is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Also, people are asking about, well, it actually blowed up the comment section. Please, Saurav, tell us more about Facebook Messenger integration. That was,
Perfect.
yeah.
I will take up three questions at the moment: Q5, Q6, Q7, which was addressed to me earlier. And one of the questions was on messenger marketing. Messenger marketing is the need of the hour. I would say it's a game changer. So there are two tools which I spoke about. One was ManyChat, and the second one was Mobile Monkey. So these are two tools which can help you in creating a backup for your messenger campaigns, which means you can create chatbots, you can send broadcasts, you can set sequences, you can do a whole lot of creative elements out there. So these are two tools which I had recommended. I'm taking a question number 6. The question is, Saurav mentioned the reducing the number of posts. I think we have already answered this. Question 7 was, can you please tell about Facebook Messenger feature? I think I have also answered this. In nutshell, whichever campaign you're creating, the objective of your messenger based campaign is, instead of signing up and lead generation or clicking on the website, a person who clicks on the ad is more likely to send you a message. And that's the feature I was talking about.
Okay. Yes, sounds great. Gavin, it's your turn to answer questions. So, how to do perfect audience research on Facebook? How to target the right audience?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, there's a million different ways in which you can do this, and just to touch on what we've spoken about before, this is why retarget content creation, audience building is so important, because then you know you've got the right people in those retargeting audiences. But if we're speaking about cold audiences, then we always want to start with kind of what is going to be the lowest hanging fruit. So if I'm creating a campaign for a brand new client, I'm going to be asking them about lookalike audiences. So I'm going to ask them for their best audiences that they can give me, which might be, let's say that we are selling, let's use Scott as an example, bass player. So what I would want to do is create what's called a lookalike audience based off people that have already purchased Scott's membership. So he's got 25,000 people that have handed over their credit card details to him. We can upload that to Facebook, creating a customer file custom audience, and then create what's called a lookalike audience from that, which is where Facebook then goes and finds people that look like the people in that audience. So Facebook are literally going out and finding people that look like demographically, interest, etc., like people have already purchased from us. So that could be huge. Then we can create lookalike audiences of any of our custom audiences. So lookalike audience of people that have been on the website, watched our videos. That's going to give us amazing audiences there. And then in terms of finding people for based on interest and demographics, that comes down to really understanding your customer and who they are. And one of the best ways I want you to think about it is, how can we target people that, or what interests would our audience have that other people wouldn't? So what books might they read? What magazines might they be subscribed to? What conferences do they go to? What websites do they visit? These are things like, if we're in the fishing industry, for example, and we want to, rather than targeting the broad interest of fishing, because anyone might have that, we want to target the fishing magazines, because people that are interested in fishing will be interested in them, but people that aren't won't be. So you're getting the most for your advertising spend.
Yeah, that is so cool. I actually can add on that. We at Semrush, when we first built our lookalike audience, we noticed that people who usually purchase Semrush, they love pugs. They love those mini dogs. That was so unusual for us. We didn't. Okay, now we know that we can target websites connected to pugs, and
That's
this is
hilarious.
effective for us. Okay, thank you, Gavin. And one more questions for you. What is the minimum number of audience you need to upload to do remarketing?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. When it comes to Facebook, the actually for things like website retargeting, sometimes you don't need a minimum. And so if you've got a brand new website, you can set the pixel up and set the retargeting ad up. Facebook just might not spend your budget if you don't have enough people in it. So I always just recommend, I actually always suggest when I get this question is don't worry about it. Is just create these audiences as you would. And if Facebook tells you you can't, then just don't do it. If Facebook allows you to but doesn't run your ads, then that's fine. We just have to try and focus on building our audience up there. So I wouldn't worry a huge amount about it. For things like lookalike audiences, you need a minimum of 100 people in the custom audience. But for things like website retargeting, you can actually do it with a very, very small number of people.
Okay, and people already react on these Scott's campaigns. They are excited about it. And the question is, how effective lookalike audiences be while targeting campaigns like Scott's?
Yeah, I mean, well, in theory, they can be very powerful. The thing is with Facebook ads, and Sorav can probably touch on this as well, is it's all a testing game. So anytime we create a campaign on Facebook, we do anything on Facebook, we're testing it. We're never going, right, this is a lookalike audience of people that have purchased from us, so it must be good. We're going, okay, this audience in theory could be good, so let's test it against this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And then the data will decide what works. But I mean, in theory, they should work.
Okay, and thank you. And here's the question. I think I will cover it myself. Can we use lookalike audiences for remarketing? No, you cannot. A lookalike audience is a strictly acquisition audience, which when it visits your website, it becomes remarketing, but it's not lookalike anymore. So I hope I answered the question. Next one. I am running out of ideas, facing issues with Facebook creatives. How do I overcome this? I think this is for Sorav.
Hi. So most of us get stuck in our journeys when we are thinking of creative ideas. So it's very important for you to benchmark. One of the most important things that you can do is look at the Facebook's Creative Hub, and they have a lot of ideas of some of the best performing ideas. So that's number one. Second is you can use this tool called Envato, Envato, which will allow you to, this is also for somebody who's asked me this question, where do I go and get my videos done? So Envato has a lot of templates which you can take and customize and get some videos done for yourself. So I think these are two things which I would recommend. So one is observe and don't get stuck in your journey, and keep benchmarking. So I always say benchmark 5 of your competitors and constantly look around and see what they have been doing to get some of the creative inspirations. So I think these are two things that you're gonna do. Envato, and looking at Facebook Creative Hub, and third is definitely benchmarking your competitors. So these are three things that I would recommend you at the moment.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Sorav. And also, question for you: what kind of content can bring more reviews through Facebook on my website specific page?
No, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes.
Which question? Which number is that? Which question is that?
It's Q number 30.
Okay. What kind of content can bring more reviews through Facebook on my website specific page?
Yes.
On my website specific page. Okay. All right, very interesting. So when your objective is that you want to get reviews done on your Facebook page, I believe that's your question. And your question is what kind of content can inspire people to that? The answer is none of your content. Reviews are, unless until you do not ask people to write a review, they won't come and write a review. And that's for sure done. Unless until they have a bad experience. Like you had a bad experience, you might just want to vent out your anger, so they'll come and write negative review and they'll walk off. Positive reviews has to be incentivized. Now, let's say a lot of people have written reviews on my Facebook page or on my Google business page. Why? Because it's a part and parcel of a process. So I give them a free course, and at the end of the free course, I say to them, if you love my content and you have learned a lot from it, why don't you just do me a small thing? You don't have to pay me anything. You just have to go on my Facebook review and my Google review page and just write down something positive about what you felt was right or what have you learned from this particular course. So you gotta have to put a funnel in the process in order to get reviews done. Or at the end of, so keep organizing a lot of webinars, host that, or at the end of a video, request people to write a review to you if they have learned something from this process or this particular video. So you need to insist and request in order to get more reviews on your Facebook business page.
Okay, I think that oh my god, so many questions. So hard to choose. Gavin, this one is for you. How effective look okay, that was, we already answered this one. Okay. Do do's and don'ts for relevant score in Facebook ads. Gavin.
Yeah, good question. Relevant score has obviously made had a couple of changes to it recently. It used to just be one singular score. Now they've broken it up into different categories. You know, for me, a relevant score is one of those things that I don't pay a huge amount of attention to, if I'm honest. When I'm running a Facebook ad campaign, I'm much more focused on the cost per lead or the cost per acquisition, the return on ad spend, the conversion value. All those numbers are much more important. Even the click-through rate, link clicks, the cost per click are much more relevant, ironically, than the relevant score for me. However, I would look at the relevant score if my campaigns maybe aren't performing very well. And then I'll take a look at the relevant score and see, okay, so the engagement rank is below average. So maybe we need to try and focus on improving the engagement on the ad, or taking a look at the other elements of it and trying to then, I'm always looking, if the campaign's not working, the relevant score can give you an understanding on maybe why. But take everything that it says with a pinch of salt, because sometimes your best performing campaigns will be super low relevance. And sometimes your worst performing campaigns from a sales or leads point of view can be super high relevance. So take it with a pinch of salt, but you can maybe use it as a tool if things aren't working to see maybe why.
Okay, you can only guess with relevant score. I agree. So, and Gavin, another one for you. At what point in the Facebook ad life do you recommend ditching one strategy and changing tactics?
That's a great question. That's a really good question. And it comes down to ensuring that you've got all the relevant tracking in place. So let me take an example of a very basic funnel, which might be Facebook ad to lead landing page to download a free guide, and then go to a thank you page, and then a sales page. Let's just say that's the funnel. So we want to be looking at all the different parts of that funnel to determine what's working and what's not. If we are running an ad to our audience and we're getting lots of clicks on the ad, then it suggests that the ad is performing well to that audience. If we then find that people are clicking the ad but they're not signing up on the landing page, then it maybe suggests that the landing page isn't performing very well. So then that's when we want to go and start doing some tests, such as changing the headline, changing the text, changing the video, the image, the color of the button, whatever it may be, to try and improve the conversion rate of the landing page. Then if people are landing on the thank you page, but they're not buying the product that we're trying to sell them, again, we go through that same process. How do we improve the conversion of that sales page? So changing the headline, the text, the copy, the benefits. And if you've got all the tracking in place, that journey just constantly changes. But there's sometimes is a case where you maybe go, right, this is probably not the right program for me. For example, I had a Facebook ads course that I used to sell. And one of the problems that I found with the course was people would buy it, but people would never finish it. And because people would never finish it, it meant I could never get testimonials from them on how good the course was for them and the business impact that it had. And so for me, like, that's way down the funnel. That's after someone has purchased. But for me, that was an issue, which meant I then changed my course into a membership program, so I could then coach people along, make sure they get results, make sure I get testimonials, which then feeds into our Facebook ads and becomes this kind of ever-going process. So you just need to look at, like, what I'd probably do is get a whiteboard out, pen and paper. What is every single touch point thing that you can track? And then get industry averages for the numbers across all. So you want a click-through rate on your ads of over 2%, you want your landing page to convert at 30%, etc. And then see how you perform against those and just go through the testing process of optimizing constantly.
Thank you, Gavin. With these tips of yours, oh my God, you can, well, everyone can blow up their Facebook and make it so profitable. Okay, so the last question we'll take, and it's for Sorav. Uh, and it is, what type of content should go on Facebook stories?
Superb. So not many businesses have attempted Facebook stories on Facebook business page. And we have tested that with few of the brands, and we have seen that the reach of Facebook stories, let's say if I have a brand with about 25,000 likes, you get to see at least 10% of your audience get to see these stories. So there is an audience which is enjoying to watch stories on Facebook because they have yet not shifted on Instagram. Otherwise, there's a huge Instagram story audience, but Facebook story audience is also getting built. So when you're doing Facebook stories, instead of just posting content and using that as a content dumping hub, you should rather do a lot of questions on Facebook stories because so that people can message you and respond to you, and you will know what kind of response do you get out of it. So keep a lot of polls, keep a lot of questions, keep a lot of puzzles or contests that can go on stories, so that you can start seeing people responding in format of messages to you. So that's the kind of content that you should post at this point of time, because on Facebook stories you can't use a lot of these features like gifs and all that, which you can do on Instagram at the moment. So I think this is what you should possibly do right now.
Okay, thank you. So I think that this is it with the questions. We have so many more left, but guys, please send them right away to Gavin and Sorav. They left their contacts and they will be happy to answer all of it. I am very sure of that. So it's Sorav Jain on Instagram, and Gavin, I think he mentioned, yes, Mr. Gavin Bell, Mr. Gavin Bell on Instagram. So join, post your questions, and blow up your Facebook. I don't know. So now I want you two guys, our speakers, dear guests, I want you to like highlight the 5 key takeaways from what you said, so everybody has like an action plan on what to do on Facebook. So I think Saurav, you will go first.
Five important things. One is focus on building long haul content that has a larger shelf life on your Facebook. That's number one. Second, start building a messenger marketing based campaign. So use the growth tools so where people can comment and it will automatically result in adding people to become your subscribers on Messenger. So the reach is much better. Third is create a series based post. Fourth is you create videos which is pretty longer so that you can sell it for a longer time and build an audience out of it, and that's a very good audience that you build which you can use for retargeting purpose. And finally, be topical with your content. When I say topical, if there's a current affair, there's a world affair, there's Wimbledon, there's something, ensure that your brand shares their personality with respect to that particular topical content. And these are the 5 key takeaways from the session today.
Okay, I hope you guys took a note. Gavin, your turn.
Yeah, for me, it would be a case of focus on building audience first. So creating content and using ads to build audience and to build that trust factor. Don't sell to strangers. People that don't know who you are, haven't seen you before from a Facebook ad, don't care who you are, and so they're not interested in buying from you. So give them something of value first before you make the ask. Implement retargeting in your business. Number 3, make sure that you are using the Facebook pixel to its full advantage. We've spoken about Instagram as well. Instagram's doing really well. Just focus on building your audience there and using retargeting to then drive those people back to your platform. In terms of funnels, we want to make sure that we are tracking everything and we're looking at each step of the way of the customer journey from not knowing who we are into coming becoming a customer, and how can we track each of those stages so we can improve all of those stages. And then finally, even if you feel like you don't understand how to use Facebook ads right now, is just go and educate yourself. There's so much free content. I've got tons of free content on YouTube on how to run Facebook ads if you're a beginner, and you can start from as little as $1 a day, £1 a day, and you can start running ads, getting more eyes on your content, and starting that journey, starting that process.
Yes, thank you so much. These are the tips you should, guys, like print and post it on just at your work table, because this is so much. I don't know. This is so useful. As an expert, I can tell that if I followed these when I just started, I would be a star right now. Thank you so much, Gavin. Thank you, Sorav. And I think we are about to finish. So thank you guys for joining us today. And I hope you found it useful, because we tried our best. Thank you so much.
Thanks
And
for having me.
yes, thank you. Bye bye.